Greetings, my friend, and welcome back to another episode of another Super Nintendo game, of course. The first-person shooter that I mentioned in the last video on Chess Quest, well, that one's still coming soon, so relax, still doing it. So, okay. Anyway, back to the video. Today I'm gonna review is this game. I apologize for the label, but that's because I got it like this. So, the game is TMNT Tournament Fighting Edition, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighting, which is a fighting game from Konami. This is the Super Nintendo version because it was also released on the Sega Genesis and the very rare NES release. The NES version. Why the NES version was so rare, you ask? Well, for one, it was the last Konami game released for the NES. Second, it came out very late of the NES lifespan, 1993. Same with the SNES version. Well, the NES cost $100 or more, the NES version, compared to the Genesis and the SNES version, which are a lot cheaper than that. So anyway, so this game was made by Konami, so it's one of the few games for the Turtles, and this game came out after the TMNT Turtles in Time, the arcade release, and the SNES release. And the Genesis was called Hyperstar. So, aside from that. So why I'm reviewing this game in the first place? For one, I was quite curious since I did saw this game when I was a child, and I was quite interested, but not much because I was so into the Killer Instinct stuff. So this game, I did play, but not as much as before. But I did enjoy it sincerely. You play as the Turtles and the other characters from the TMNT franchise. You had Leonardo, Rafael, Miguel Angelo, and Donatello, which is obviously the Turtles. And you have the Shredder, King, all the characters is there. Well, except two of them they don't exist. Those are Bebop and Rocksteady. By that point on, this is during the time when the cartoon was going down. Of course, this is '93 and not the '80s. The '80s was the beginning, of course. And so yeah, you play a bunch of characters. The Turtles. Hey, this game has tournament, story mode, and the versus. It also had a bunch of codes on the game, which I'll get mentioned in the video. And it is. The gameplay is similar to Street Fighter, sincerely. You basically put the inputs and fight each other. Just like Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, this is one of those games that went under the radar for many. Most people were basically playing for Super Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 2, or just Killer Instinct. They were based on those, and most omitted the other fighting game, which are really fascinating to me. And it is a great game, sincerely. Most people say that there's all sort of negative stuff, but it's wrong. This is a great game. In fact, this is much more easier to play than the Genesis. The Genesis version is exactly the same game, only the graphics are a lot more grittier, a lot more darker. A typical typical byproduct of the Genesis. It has to be darker. The music is a lot more grittier and effort tone. So that's how it sounds like, sincerely. And the other differences is the SNES is a lot more easier. The Genesis version is a lot more brutal because the Genesis is a lot more punishing because of the AI. This game is a lot more balanced. You can set the level, and same with the Genesis, you can set the level. But the AI on the Genesis is a lot more harder than this one. This one is a lot more fun. And yes, I recommend to play this game in 2 players since you have more fun. For 1 player, the bosses are getting more and more harder, especially Kawari, which is the last boss of the game. She is overpowered as hell. Just like Idol. She's like Idol, Shao Kahn, Akuma, one of those overpowered bosses that you don't want to, well, some people chose it just for fun, but for competition, obviously you cannot use it because that would feel unfair. But that's how bosses it is. Well, by the way, she's unlockable on the code alongside with the sub boss Rat King and Shredder was just weird. Shredder would be the sub boss, but in reality you can select him right from the start. It's right here. You don't have to put the code. So yeah, I'm gonna feel this. But most people think is the Turtles are from other countries. Yeah, the company who made the Turtle is Mirage Studios, which is the company behind the Turtles, because originally the Turtles was the comic strip, remember? They came out on that, then the cartoon, and then the merchandise such as lots of toys. And of course the phrase pizza time, pizza power, which is every TMNT fan, especially myself, knows the term necessarily. And it was really interesting. I just wish this game had more popularity and this game will get more success. It is a really fun game. It's just under the radar, and most people don't seem to care for it. And some do prefer Turtles of Time over this game. Don't get me wrong, Turtles of Time is a great game. It is a timeless classic, and in fact, some people claim that it's better than arcade, and it is. It has more characters compared to the arcade. Some of them were, for example, you don't have Beavis and Butt. You don't have the Bebop and Rocksteady there in the arcade version. Unlike the first arcade game, which came out before, which there's an NES game which called TMNT 2, the arcade, which I'll get to mention in the future. Mention those characters, which is quite obvious. Now I'm gonna play this game on my SNES Junior, and yes, I had actually in the background to test the SNES is working before I do recording. So yeah, I'll put this game on the SNES and see what it is. Total Combat.
Round 1. Fight! Round 2. Fight! Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight! Round three. Fight! Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight! Round one. Fight! Perfect! Round two. Fight! Perfect! Round one. Fight! Perfect! Round two. Fight! Perfect!
I hope you enjoyed this video of TMNT Tournament Fighter on the Snes. Now I'm sure a lot of people were asking about the Genesis version and the NES, but that will be for another time since I need to get the Genesis version, well, sort of. And the NES version that will be improbable because how rare it is and it's expensive these days. It is still gonna be expensive, the NES version. So that's why I don't have it in this video, unfortunately. But do I recommend this game? Hell yes, why not? Because this is another rhythm game. Most people, in fact, if you're a huge fan of fighting games as well, the huge fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, give it a shot. This game is amazingly good. It's just one of the best. Well, not the best fighting games. I want this particular list, but one of the great fighting games that is good and it's enjoyable and it had a ton of fun times necessarily. In fact, I play a lot of this game quite frequently, a lot since just enjoy it, and that's the key here. And I want to get this game. Well, and this game unfortunately is not available on any of the virtual console. I believe I'll find later now, but I wouldn't. But I tell you, I can't find it on any virtual console, as well the Nintendo Switch Online, neither any of those, because the game is so underrated. But you can play it on an emulator if you wanted it. But I will leave you the games you can find it on this game. This game, you can leave, of course. And it is one amazing game. And for those who want to play the Genesis, well, you can go there. Well, sadly, the Genesis version is not on the Sega Genesis Classic Edition or the Mini. Just playing an emulator. The NES version is the same thing, just playing an emulation since it's quite rare these days. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll come up with the promise FPVA game that I mentioned in the previous video. So we don't see on that video, and that's about it, my friend. That's all I can tell. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next occasion. And I hope so. Take care, everybody, and see you next time. As always, thanks for watching, and take care.
Power!